Have you ever wondered why large
huge, and though we're two people who had brilliant ideas to do some transformation, we realized we started with nothing. We started with just volunteer hats and then spread wanting to achieve and stuff like that.
We were motivated as individuals to contribute content about Africa and to decolonize the internet.
The two of us alone couldn't do it by ourselves, so we needed to have other people join, and then to have
I'm happy about with Ofwa.
Felix was a young volunteer for the Wikimedia movement, and I said, well, look, there's that Wikipedia offline that you might be interested in. He was like, yes. So he started going up north, doing exactly what I was talking earlier about, like evangelizing knowledge, if you will. And he was going to, I forgot the name of the city at this stage, but he was going up north, showcasing in schools. And then he found other people at Ofwa when Ofwa started also being more structured, having more programs.
I would like to thank Open Foundation West Africa and those who thought about that idea, because they constituted the team which led to my first contribution as a technical contributor for Wikimedia.
Ofwa had a kind of like a mentorship out key weeks training program, and the program centered around training different people from different countries to be able to try and experiment and implement this awesome software called QX. And that was my first interaction. That's like 2 years ago when I actually became the QX ambassador for South Sudan.
The QX for School program is targeted at addressing internet connectivity and lack of educational resources in Africa. Here in Ghana, there are some parts of the country that do not have internet connectivity, and for those that even have, it comes at a very expensive rate.
We come from a community which doesn't have access to good amount of internet, and internet also which is available is actually expensive, so that felt like a solution. And this is where actually I also got so motivated to be able to be part of the program.
So what Afwa has done, and one of the big successes was that train the trainers for QX, train the evangelists actually. And so that opened us like hundreds of eyes across the continent. So not all of them, some of them just go and they do their thing and we never hear back from them because they're happy. But we get some conversations started, and that really, really helps us improve the product. Because at the end of the day, I mean, QX is free, fine, but we still need to progress, we still need to improve. So those contacts we made through Alpha are the ones that keep us going.
I've gained a lot of skills, organization skills, communication skills, presentation skills, budgeting, and a lot of finance stuff through the grant writing of for Wikimedia grants. And then I've also learned managing individuals.
Through OFWA, I've been able a lot of roles, like he will practically hand over the role for you and ask you to do it the way you think you can do it. And this was quite a great opportunity for us to challenge ourselves, things that we hardly would do in our own.
Being in a position as a leadership, thinking for an organization, for people to implement, is a very difficult task. I think having this opportunity has broadened my thinking.
For the past 5 years, having worked with OFWA, I've learned so many skills. And one of them includes like how to even run an organization, a non-profit organization, how to work with people, how to collaborate with partners, how to even evaluate projects, how to develop programs. And I think through my time working at OFWA, I got the opportunity to develop and design a lot of programs from the scratch.
OFWA helped establish or jump-started our community. The first campaign I was ever involved with them was the Africa Wiki Challenge that happened in 2023. So OFWA supported us not only by giving us a train the trainers course. We were also supported using microgrants.
So OFWA being an affiliate to Wikipedia, they are the people that we have worked with to enable us achieve what we set out to do, i.e. putting our stakeholders and all these affiliates onto the global map.
There was nothing like a developer community within the movement. It was first thought and conceived by OFWA. I'll give blazing tribute or mention of one, Alangi. We had to bring Alangi all the way from Cameroon. We did some training in Ghana. We did a couple of trainings in Nigeria, Ivory Coast, and even in Cameroon where Alangi came from. We are not where we wanted to be in terms of the developer community, but we started something which was not within the Wikimedia movement, and now we've seen a resemblance of that in India and other communities across the globe, and those are things we are proud of.
Our success or our journey was made up of so many ad hoc things. I remember when we started this, we didn't have a place to work. We didn't have an office to work from. And so Raphael would always say, let's just go buy a drink in a hotel and then stay in the lobby and work. And that's how come we started this. So we started using a lot of hotels as our place of work. We started using a lot of community spaces as our place of work. But one organization that really contributed to our journey was the Goethe Institute. They actually gave us their library for a lot of our initiatives, as well as giving us their library for us to even meet and talk and discuss the future of this organization. So for me, when I look back, it looks like Goethe Institute has played an instrumental role in this. But also, I would say that between the two of us, we were very innovative in trying to use hotels and other public spaces for almost free.
The whole team from the start to now, everybody has in their way played very crucial roles in making this dream still live on for 10 years.
OFWA is full of resourceful people with capabilities to collaborate with other Wikimedians. And I think there are some communities within our continent that are in much need of what OFWA is having. So I think the future holds the potential more collaboration with these communities so they can gain and benefit much from the great job that OFWA is doing.
Yeah. OFWA is dedicated. Yeah. OFWA is consistent. And I know that consistency is what has driven the organization to this point.
The
they consistently get things done.
Being adaptable and also innovative in their programs, in their outreach.
FOA is, of course, going to continue to play a big role. But I would say becoming a continental leader in open knowledge in Africa, especially when it comes to innovating the space, the wiki ecosystem in Africa.
I see them leading in two areas in the global, in the global scene. One, in the innovation and the concepts, but two, with the level of professionalism that has inspired many of us on the continent.
I see OFWA being a learning hub or having lots of hubs across not just Ghana but West Africa. I also see increase in impact up to about 80%, and I'm believing that we will also prioritize innovation.
They are having impact both in Ghana and in most of the African countries as well, aside also spreading their tentacles to some of the Western countries, having great impact in those spaces.
Ghana intends to have an open university in the past. It will get to a point where I think OFWA will play a large role in that, and will be called to the table when we are talking about distance and open learning.
Connecting with other like-minded organizations to spearhead this vision. I see OFWA opening up the door for open knowledge in Africa, leading the change and charge and connecting all organizations on board.
A dream is not a dream if it doesn't scare you. And I mean, sometimes we get scared about some of the dreams we have at OFWA, but then that's the purpose of a dream. It's supposed to scare you and to push you to do better, and basically for you to come out of your comfort zone.
So I think from all the work that Open Foundation West Africa has done, it is only prudent to think of OFWA as continuing to do work that focuses on preserving African culture and heritage, supporting other countries that do not have a Wikimedia presence, activating communities that want to learn more about the open knowledge movement or the open movement in general, and taking on the mantle of educating people through innovative means like Kiwix and other projects that they run.
I would like to thank all who have made this possible, from the co-founders, Raphael Berche and Felix Narti, birthing this incredible idea to form this organization that is making true impact on the continent. Kudos to you. To all staff of the organization, both previous and current, it is your effort that has brought this organization this far, and we do not take it for granted. To our board members, our partners, collaborators, and our amazing volunteers who are the lifeline of this organization. We are because you are. Thank you for all the work you have done, and you should share in this incredible achievement because it is yours to own.
Have all been drained away by colonialist imperialism.
Africa has immense actual and potential wealth: gold, diamond, copper, manganese, bauxite, iron ore, uranium, asbestos, chrome, cobalt. The hopes of other minerals have all been drained away by colonialist imperialism. Africa is far from being poor. It is Africans who are poor, not Africa.
Today, the descendants of enslaved Africans continue to face economic disparities, social inequality, systemic discrimination, and racial prejudices.
Our greatest danger stems from disunity. We must therefore face the issue of African unity now.
It is an appeal to ensure that the dignity, rights, and well-being of Africans and their descendants are fully restored. The call for reparations will, including, extends beyond financial redress to encompass addressing structural inequalities, ensuring educational and economic opportunities, reclaiming cultural heritage, and amplifying the voice of Africa and the diaspora communities on the global stage.
All of the things that have been mistaught and adopted, now we have to divorce those things and restart over and really start teaching people what's true. But you have to have a heart to really want to learn something about yourself. You have to have a heart to really want to see something different, and you have to have a heart to know that Africa was first and Africa's going to be last. So we have to make Africa great again, and the only way that we can do it is starting individually and then coming together collaboratively.
They live in you. They live in you. They live in you.
Every 4 years, Ghanaians come together to decide through elections, a choice that shapes the future of our country. Elections are not just about casting a vote. They mean ensuring peace, unity, and fairness for all. As such, as we draw closer to the December polls, where misinformation, disinformation, political tensions, and violence may be on the rise, safeguarding the integrity and documenting accurate information of our electoral process has never been more crucial.
As Ghana stands at the cusp of another critical election, Open Foundation West Africa is committed to documenting the most accurate and unbiased information on the world's largest encyclopedia, Wikipedia. As a non-governmental organization, OFOR aims to bridge gaps in digital literacy, cultural preservation, and open knowledge across Africa. Over the years, we have worked toward this mission through various impactful projects. In 2020, we implemented a pilot project initiative known as the Ghana Polls 2020. This project was implemented to document the events of Ghana's general election on Wikipedia.
Open is the foundation of everything we do at OFWA. This is why we are leveraging the Ghana Polls 2024 project to remind every Ghanaian that accurate information as well as misinformation and disinformation plays a huge part in maintaining the peace of our country. There is the need for us to understand the power of words and actions, especially during the general elections. We are elated to work on this initiative with various stakeholders, including the media, CSOs, NGOs, and every other Ghanaian, including you, to spread the message of peace, tolerance, and respect during the elections.
Through the Ghana Polls 2024 initiative, we are proud to collaborate with Open Foundation West Africa to support the fight against misinformation and disinformation by advocating for a peaceful, transparent election that respects the rights of all citizens. At Amnesty International Ghana, we stand for human rights and justice. Elections are critical for protecting these rights, and our commitment is to ensure that every Ghanaian can vote freely without fear or intimidation.
At the heart of Ghana's democracy is a commitment to peace and justice, and our collective effort can make this election a historic milestone for our nation. As we gear up for the 2024 general elections, we are reminded again of the remarkable journey this nation has taken towards democracy. The time has come for all of us, including aspiring candidates, eligible voters, and the media, to embrace a shared responsibility.
One thing that often goes unnoticed is the point of view of journalists in putting out their voices in demanding peace. This time round, we say that no matter where you stand, let's all ensure and insist that this December election is peaceful.
We are excited to partner on the Ghana Post 2024 project led by the Open Foundation West Africa. The Wikimedia Ghana user group is an affiliate of the Wikimedia Foundation. Everyone should have access to accurate and reliable information, especially during important events like elections. The Ghana Poll 2024 project will ensure that the public has access to accurate, verifiable information they need about the Ghanaian elections on Wikipedia and its sister project.
Peace is not just a word, it's a foundation of our democracy. As we approach the 2024 elections, we are not just casting votes for our leaders, we are shaping the future of Ghana. In every election season, it's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment. Emotions can run high, and suddenly words can lead to action that wound our politics and our citizens. It's up to every Ghanaian to promote peace. Let's choose respect, even when we disagree. Let's allow reason to light our way, rather than letting our anger dictate our actions.
Unfortunately, we've seen some pockets of violent clashes or electoral violence in the past that is very concerning. It is why we are here to remind you once again that election is one of our civic responsibilities. As important as it is not worth any life. It is not worth anyone's blood. So please, whatever you do, whoever you choose, go cast your vote and stay away from violence.
As the December 7 elections approach, remember that by choosing peace, you're not only creating a better Ghana for yourself, but also for everyone around you. Every action counts. Choose peace, because peace begins with you.
Together, let us engage respectfully and responsibly to ensure a peaceful election in 2024.
As we approach the December 7 polls, let us remember that our vote is not just a right, but a responsibility. This is a time to put the peace of our nation above all else. Let's engage in healthy debates, respect each other's opinions, and also refuse to let misinformation or violence disrupt the progress we've made. The future of Ghana lies in our hands, and our actions today will shape the country we want tomorrow.
sɛ moma yɛnso yɛn man asomdwe mu ɛmfa ho ne amanyɔkuro a wodɔm moma yɛmfa kasakyerɛ ne kasapa ɛndi yɛn ho nkɔmmɔ
kɔna kɔto aba na kɔfie mo bɛdi nkunim bia no odi nkunim magana sɛ yɛko a yɛgyina sɛ yɛtete a yɛdi nkuku kɔne sakine ndɔn sɛ yɛfa kɔne yɛfɛ yɛdi mane na nwunu a ɔba zakide bia yɛ Ghana kede ko Ghana ke ala yɛre ya yɛ ne Ghana walika bia motim pa bɛkyerɛ mama yɛva Ghana ni yɛbi eduenyi na yɛyɛ ko
Nime kename Ghana bi nyaha wofo a oshikine yeto ejolamli ejake manepe ni woyo
Ghana mi kata mi atoe nchifafa ekoji me miala gbamagba ejira o malio ejira o da ka malio e mara ka maga doba na ba wo gbagla da ka o obazo nyano na opla ofomoto awo ta fafa ekojimemiele anya jigmi agbana fon kaka andragba fafa ekojimemiele.
Charlie, December 7th be around the corner. That day we dey go vote. I dey beg you guys to make we indulge in peaceful elections. Make we just go vote then come back. Make you no go fight, make you no go insult anybody. We dey advocate for peace.
Ghana's democracy belongs to all of us. With Ghana Polls 2024, we are building a bridge to a peaceful, informed future where every citizen can make their voices heard, free from fear or manipulation. Join us as we stand together for a fair and peaceful election.
Ghana Polls 2024.
Facts for fair election.
Africa, once a chorus of kingdoms, voices, and wisdom, was torn apart. Slave ships stole modern bodies, they shattered languages, erased names, and buried stories. Maps were redrawn without us, our rhythm, our taste, our truth, scattered by foreign hands. What followed wasn't just conquest, it was silence, forced. But silence isn't stillness. From Soweto to Selma, Dakar to DC, our people rose. Freedom fighters, dreamers, and griots kept the flame alive. We reclaimed names, marched for justice, and wrote the first lines of a new story. A story of power, of pride, of possibility. Yet, so many pages remain missing. Over 70% of Wikipedia's content centers the global north, while less than 20% covers Africa. And much of that is written for us, not by us. Open Foundation West Africa, through initiatives like the Africa Wiki Challenge, is contributing to open knowledge and driving digital empowerment across Africa. OFWA has trained over 3,000 editors in more than 20 countries, leading the creation of over 30,000 Wikipedia articles about Africa, in African voices, for African futures. From West to East Africa and across the diaspora, identity is lost in digital silence. That's why we write. Through the Africa Wiki Challenge, thousands of editors have published tens of thousands of articles, images, and translations, reclaiming the stories history tried to bury. This is more than a challenge, it's a movement. A future where African stories are told by Africans, where every language, village, and innovation is documented, not forgotten. Join the 2025 Africa Wiki Challenge and let's reclaim our history, restore our pride, and write our truth together.
All of Abuja from the four winds of the city is coming to this place.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good
Hello,
afternoon. Wherever you're joining us from, we are glad that we are here. We are going to go straight into our discussion for today.
Recording in progress.
I think that a lot of our friends are still joining. And so we can start by introducing ourselves in the chat. You can just mention your name, where you're joining from, and then we can give you some warm welcome and shout out as well. Yeah. So please stick and stay. Let's give some 5 minutes to our friends to join, and then we can kickstart. So about 37 we'll kickstart, and then the program will continue. You're welcome once again. Please, you want to see some names in the chat. Introduce yourself, where you're joining us from. We'll be happy to. Okay. I'm seeing some chats. Just your name, where you're joining us from. We give you some thumbs up. All right. Thank you very much. All right, we are back. Thank you all so much for staying. I think that as the program goes on, our friends will also be joining. Yes, at this point, I want to welcome us all back again and invite Mr. Axel to take over from this point. So let's give some thumbs up for Mr. Ato up here. Emoji thumbs up for Mr. Ato. Great.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this Africa Youth Impact webinar. I want to recognize those who have mentioned themselves in the chat. So let's do that first. So we have Maureen Owusu-Adai, based in the US. Maureen, where the US is a big country. Where are you based? If you could please let us know in the chat. And then we have Dahir Whaley. I hope I'm mentioning the name correct. Also from Djibouti. I wish I could say hi in Djibouti. I don't know how to say it. Could you teach us in the chat? We also have Samuel Benager, who is based here in Ghana, where I am, same city, Accra, but coming from UG Legon. Okay, Maureen, you're in Michigan. Thanks for joining us from Michigan. I don't know if you're in Flint or you're in Detroit or you're in Ann Arbor. I've been to Flint and Detroit before. Okay. Yeah, so so this webinar is brought to all of us by Open Foundation West Africa, as well as the Ghana EdTech Alliance and the Ghana Think Foundation, of which I lead. So as this is part of an anniversary for OFWA. So to help us learn more about OFWA and the purpose of this webinar, I would like to call Dixit. So Dixit, I'm going to throw it back to you. So you could tell us the purpose of the webinar and what has led us to this point. So please, I think we know how to clap on Zoom. So please, let me see your clapping. Let me see your applause. It's almost like I've gone to church. Let me see your clapping. Let me see your clapping. Great. Dixit, over to you.
All right. Mr. Ato, thank you so much. Team, I am happy that we're having this conversation. I believe we are all Africans, so I think that this conversation working with. Or someone is here who is not an African. Yeah, for us as Open Foundation West Africa, FVO, hearing about us for the first time, the full name is Open Foundation West Africa, based here in Ghana. And in simple put, one of the things that we pride ourselves for as a tech non-profit organization is to create awareness about all the available open resource tools. A very ardent contributor in the open movement, which gear towards promoting and improving the quality of education. I think that countries are agreeing that there should be that time where learning will come at no limitation. That is what we are seeking to do in the near future. We are also an affiliate of Multimedia Foundation. Our activities are basically surrounding preserving an African culture, which zoom into decolonizing the internet. Right? If you see an article somewhere and how you feel when a narrative is maligned into, as it were, a biased perspective of Africa. We also have some kids, someone mentioned about Michigan, or maybe in Detroit or Indiana or Pennsylvania somewhere, who is going through still thinking that Africans live on trees. So these are some of the things that we do through, as an affiliate with the Wikimedia and SSR projects, we try to amplify some of these narratives in our heritage, in our language, and all any other forms. We're also big on actor solutions. And so you have us do projects that surrounds advancing education using technology. So, and a bit of also on advocacy. One of the biggest ones we are handling now is the information integrity. So this is a little bit about us. We've got a lot online, you can check it out as well. But I want to zoom into the purpose of this discussion. I think Mr. Tu mentioned that we are celebrating 10 years. You have been in Ghana doing some incredible work. And this year, as part of our celebration, we wanted to have an umbrella where we can all come under it and discuss, ways we can improve the African youth. We are doing a bit in empowering digital skills, but is there a way with the collective synergies we can come together and put, some rich content or narrative out there for people to learn from? And that is what we're happy to do this with the Ghana EdTech Alliance and also the Ghana Think Foundation. So in a nutshell, we are here simply today as an organized information session. And the nutshell is that we are going to equip ourselves with knowledge. As we already know, knowledge is power. And aside that to skill sets, you might learn from today something that will take you someone years to find out, right? And that is what's joining some of these programs is very, very important. You also be highlighted and then you got to know opportunities. You're applying, a career path. It's so cloudy, you don't know where to turn. A suggestion from this webinar will give you that insight, that boldness. So in a nutshell, we are here as key stakeholders across education technology and then youth development, practically to share insights and partners that we can grow as an African youth. And so for the objective of this session is to just promote the make the African youth well informed, well equipped, be able to chase and utilize the opportunities that come up. So this afternoon discussion is going to be straightforward, practical, and we look forward to having a very wonderful session for all of us to learn and then also relearn. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dixon. So basically, for this webinar, we want to look at a few things. So for the organizations that are involved, do a lot of work with young people, focusing on digital, open information, youth empowerment, education, transformation, etc. And we want to explore this from a few lenses, this conversation. There's going to be a lot of time for everybody to ask questions as well. So we're looking at how we want to shape Africa's future through skills and innovation. So we'll look at technology and innovation. We'll also look at education and skills development. And we'll also look at employment and entrepreneurship. So without further ado, I'd like to bring in our panelists. So I think in Ghana, we do ladies first. So Jao, I think we'll start with you. So I'll just do a quick introduction about Jao, and then we'll talk. I'll say something about Kwame, and then we'll say something about Richmond Anani, who is with me at the Ghana Think Foundation. So I met Jao recently this year as part of the 10-year anniversary for OFWA. I was at the anniversary launch and fundraising dinner, and it was such a pleasure to meet Jal. So Jal is the executive director of Open Foundation West Africa, where she leads initiatives focused on open knowledge, digital inclusion, and cultural preservation. She has a background in human resources and systems coordination. She is very passionate about creating sustainable structures that empower communities to contribute and access free knowledge, which is very fundamental to what the work that OFWA does, and other organizations that OFWA has partnered in the past. She has played a key role in campaigns like the Africa Wiki Challenge, which I saw something about recently. Shine Her Light, which has been shining a light on great women who are doing things, and QEX for schools. So the QEX schools, and all these things help amplify African voices across Wikimedia platforms. So if you're here and you don't use Wikipedia, you should change that in a hurry. JAL is committed to building a digitally inclusive Africa where local narratives are documented, accessible, and celebrated. Extremely important. Please, let's give a round of applause to JAL. We're going to hear from her soon as we start the panel. So please, applause, applause. Yes. So also from the Ghana EdTech Alliance, we have Kwame Nyatwami. So I got to know Kwame, I think sometime last year, in one of the WhatsApp groups that brings together lots of awesome young Ghanaians around the Ghana STEM network. And I've met him in person twice this year. So Kwame is a trailblazer in Africa's EdTech space, championing innovation and access to quality education. He's the president of the Ghana EdTech Alliance, which we will learn more about, and he leads efforts to transform learning through technology, driving Ghana's position as a hub for educational innovation. Takes me back to 1957 when we had our independence, and we wanted to show that we are trailblazers as a country. So Kwame and his group are trying to ensure that we are a trailblazer in educational innovation. So he's also the creative director for Afro EdTech Enthusiast, where he harnesses the power of creativity and storytelling to amplify groundbreaking EdTech solutions across, which we're going to learn a lot about today. Through advocacy, collaboration, and content creation, Kwame is shaping the future of learning, one innovation at a time. Please, a round of applause for Kwame, wherever you are, as I also introduce the last panelist, but not the least, Richmond Anani. So Richmond Anani is a member of Ghana, I think, just like myself, but primarily he's a chartered accountant who has spent his career in the area of entrepreneurship, skills development, and community empowerment. Through his work at Hopin Academy, based in Tamale, doing work across the country these days, the ComSeco program of the Ghana Think Foundation, and at Aspire Professional Consult, he has developed a clear and passionate conviction that equipping young people, Africans and others in this case, goes beyond technical training. It's about building the mindset, adaptability, and the skills needed to navigate real-world challenges, create meaningful value, and lead change within their own communities. Richmond has always been interested in how we can move away from one-off disconnected trainings into ecosystems where education, entrepreneurship, and opportunity work together. He doesn't just see innovation as a buzzword that we talk about, but it's very practical, and it's an everyday process that should be accessible to everyone on this call and every young person with a problem to solve and the drive to solve it. So these are our three panelists. Thank you so much for being with us. And we are going to begin with Ofwa. So ladies first again with Jal. So Jal, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. So how are you doing?
Awesome. Great. Yeah. So as part of learning more about OFWA, the first thing I'd like to ask you about is how does OFWA, Open Foundation West Africa, help young people gain the digital skills and the knowledge they need to succeed today?
Okay, thank you very much, Atsu. And hello, everyone. I wouldn't want to use a good afternoon because many people are joining from other places. So just hello. And yeah, as introduced, I'm Jael. I lead the team at OFWA. I think Dixon has spoken a lot about what we do. So I wouldn't waste so much time there. Just go straight to Atsu's question. So at OFWA, at the core of our work is youth, and then Pan-Africanism. So these are two really important things to us, ensuring that the youth of this continent currently embody Pan-Africanism in all that they do. So our goal is to represent Africa digitally online, because we know that there's a digital divide. We see that there's a lot of information online, but Africa is lacking on there. We work a lot with Wikimedia Foundation, the organization responsible for Wikipedia. And even with all our efforts, currently we see that if you check online, African content on Wikipedia is just a little above 2%, right? And it tells a lot, it tells that we are not doing much to put Africa out there. And that is where OFWA comes in. What we try to do is to not just put Africa out there, but to empower the youth to put Africa out there. So we train the youth in digital literacy skills to put information about Africa online, so we want to ensure that the information about Africa online is coming from Africans themselves. Because many a time you realize that even the little information we find about Africa online is not written by Africans. So that's what we do. And we do this through different ways. We first of all, as I mentioned, do the trainings, but our trainings are not just theoretical, where you just, Atu mentioned that Richmond is very much passionate about lifelong learning and not just one-off trainings. And that is what we are interested in. We are not interested in just coming for a 2-day training, receiving a certificate, putting it on your CV, and just leaving it there. We train you to be able to make an impact. So we train you with skills that you can use, that you should and will use to put Africa online. That is one thing we do. We also have a host of other programs. I also mentioned the Kiwix for schools. The Kiwix for schools is our way of bridging the educational gap also here in Africa. There are many countries in Africa. I wouldn't even go beyond Ghana, because even though we are headquartered in Ghana, we work across Africa. But I know that there are many African countries where internet connectivity is a challenge. But even with some countries that are doing better, we still have these challenges. In Ghana, for instance, there are many places that do not have internet. Even those in urban areas, like those of us in the Accra, Kumasi, Tamales, and stuff that have internet, it is really costly, right? And the youth survive by the internet now. So what do you do when you find yourself in a situation like this? That is why we have the Kiwix for Schools program. What we do is to bring information that you may otherwise find online, offline. So we bring it. Kiwix is a software developed by Stefan and his team in Switzerland. We take it and contextualize it to our setting. And so we bring information, we zoom all files on Wikipedia and other open access tools we can find, put it on the Kiwix and install in schools. So if we are coming to, maybe if we are coming to the north and we are coming to some secondary schools, we know that some people, of course, the internet connectivity is there, the cost of internet is also there. Then there is also the challenge of even buying textbooks, because when you live in Accra, sometimes you are oblivious of certain facts. You know, you think that, or you see poverty a certain way. You know, you think that it's just because you couldn't afford your 399 cities data today. So, you know, yeah, things are tough. But there are people that cannot even afford textbooks for their awards in schools. So what we do is to look at their curriculum, see all the information they would need, you know, maybe, for instance, integrated science, what topics will they be treating? We find all these supplementary materials from open sources, and then we zip those files on Kiwix and install in their schools where they can use and access anytime. But this time, they can access this information offline. So they no longer have to go online for this information. They can access this information online, offline. There is still a challenge there though, because most of these schools have like one computer lab and all students will not have access to this very important information at the same time. So yeah, it's all a challenge there, but this is the way we contribute. And then we always call on other organizations to support us in, you know, especially in terms of the infrastructure, so that we can do more in this regard. What I love about the work we do is the fact that we do not do everything by ourselves. I started by saying that we are a very practical organization. We do a lot of practical trainings. If you look at all the things we do, the Africa Wiki Challenge, Shine a Light, and all of these things, and then you come to our office to see the number of people, the number of full-time staff there, you'll be amazed, because you wonder how we're able to do these things. But this is where the training comes in, because we empower our community members, our volunteers. We have hubs across the country. In almost every region in Ghana, we have hubs. And then we have volunteer community leaders that lead these hubs. So every year we bring them together for a trainer of trainers session where we train them on all of these projects, and they go back into the communities to implement them on the ground. You know, so in a way, apart from just the digital skills we are providing, we're also providing these people with leadership skills, right? We are a lot of them testify of how they've changed. Now they've learned public speaking, they've learned to set goals and all, because as a youth, as a student in a school, or as a young community leader, they would have to do all of these things. So they go out there to implement all of these things that we do in the communities. And that's one way of trickling down, you know, all of these things, so that the information is not just left up there where you do a one-off training, people can participate and just go. But we try to empower people to also give to the community. In a way, you have that rippling effect where just one training can impact hundreds of people, because just the 20 people or so that benefit from your training would also impact a lot more. We also partner with organizations, especially educational institutions. I saw that Dr. Ben Agar is on the call from University of Ghana. We have a club in University of Ghana. We have a club in KNUST. We have clubs across several universities in Ghana. So we use the same model, actually, you know, trainer of trainers. So we train people, they go into these universities and train people as well there. What we do with our Wikipedia training also is that there is this kind of misconception that someone can just sit somewhere and write on Wikipedia. So, you know, the information may not be credible and that's so, but that's not it. It goes through a very rigorous process before an article is approved on Wikipedia. It has to meet all the notability criteria. So in a way, we're also teaching students how to do proper research, right? We teach them proper researching skills, referencing and citing your sources very well so that your articles can be improved. And all of these actually help students in their academic work. But what happens is that because you're not just learning this thing to pass an exam, but you are learning it as a life skill, it becomes part of you and it becomes something that you do not forget, you know, after maybe one semester where you learn a certain course to just pass an exam. It becomes part of you. And as you grow into other fields, these skills that you have learned from OFWA become very integral in the work you do as well. So there is also the mentorship part that we do. A lot of the times realize that, okay, we give them these skills and yeah, people are into different fields, right? So in the last couple of years, we have really gone hard on mentorship where people do not just benefit from trainings, but we try to link them up with people doing good in fields they aspire to be. This year, we've had a very, very successful one with the Ghana Think Foundation for our Shine Here Lights campaign, where we, after training young girls to contribute to Wikipedia, we partnered with Ghana Think Foundation to pair them up with successful leaders in the fields that these ladies aspire to be. At the inauguration, it was a very wonderful event, and we've been following up with our girls, and we see how they are still connected with their mentors and keep, going to them for advice professionally and then in other ways as well. So my time is up, right? Okay, fine.
Oh,
So
no,
these are the ways.
I'll just say that's great.
Okay. I thought my time was
Yeah.
up. Yeah, so these are the ways that we actually impact the youth with digital literacy, because we live in a country or a continent where we kind of rely on chew and pour. And chew and pour does not really help you gain lifelong skills. So we need to devise different strategies so that the skills that we teach you do not just learn for certification's sake and then just, dump it somewhere, but they become skills that you use on the daily. I wouldn't want Ato to cut me off, so I'll pause here when there's time for questions, and then you ask any question you want. So I'll be available to answer.
Thank you so much, Dal. So we'll hand over the baton to Kwame Nyatwame of Ghana EdTech Alliance. Hello, Kwame.
Hi, Ato. Don't know if you can see or hear me. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, we can see and hear you. We can see that you are in space.
You don't to be there. Anyway,
yeah. So, but behind you, I don't know if it's Africa that's behind you, or I think it's Asia that's behind you. Europe.
Turn the globe.
Yeah, but we're focusing on Africa today. So,
right.
Focusing on Africa, Kwame, how are the stakeholders within the Ghana EdTech Alliance collaborating to ensure that we match the education needs of today's digital world?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ato. This question. Anyway, first, we really need to acknowledge that the world has changed. Much of our education system, unfortunately, has not changed fast enough. Something Jael touched on the fact that we do a lot of rote learning, right? So it's chew, pour, pass, and forget. It's painful we add the forget, considering we are in a context where we are building a country and then a continent. This is to say that across Africa, we still largely operate education models that are designed for the industrial era, unfortunately. And those are the things that we touched on. So there's memorization that has to do with the chew, pour, pass, and forget. There's the compliance, there's the exam performance, and we are noticing, and I'm really excited about the times that we are in. We are realizing that the world is, shifting and, rewarding more creativity, more adaptability, more digital competence. It's putting the spotlight on collaboration, highlighting how important problem solving is. At the Ghana Tech Alliance, we are a community of education technology startups and companies in Ghana. That's the very simple, if you like, idea of who we are. At the core, I pretty much deal with entrepreneurs on a daily who are looking to leverage on technology to, number one, improve learning outcomes. Number two, to assist teachers, right? So there are many tools that are being built by actors within my alliance that are looking to reduce the administrative load of teachers, just to put them in a position where they actually do have for the learners in their classroom. And this is across the board, from K-12 all the way to secondary and then to tertiary. Beyond our role as a community first of local actors who are looking to leverage on technology to, in a sense, improve education as we know it, we see our role beyond that, right? We see our role as bringing together the ecosystem. We are looking at startups, so that's our community. We're looking at governments. We are looking at private sector. We are looking at development partners, and we are looking at the innovators, right? And the whole idea here is that we want to put us in a position where we collectively rethink learning for our realities now and then for the future. What I typically say with a lot of the conversations I have is Ghana is a developing country and Africa is a developing continent. And it's fantastic that we are born at a time where now we just need to, in a quote unquote, polish ourselves through education and then bring forth our creativity, bring forth our ingenuity, bring forth our innovation to bring light to the space. So if there's any thing that you see on a daily, from the market women putting Sudan 4 dye into the palm oil, to you see that there's the least rain that falls, our spaces are flooded, to the hunger, to the I'm sure you heard about the no bed syndrome that we are having that unfortunately killed the EMISA guy. That's all over the news now. All of these are problems that are identifiable with a nation and a continent that is in a phase of development. And the point I want to stress here is that it is you and I that will solve the problem. The idea of looking outside for people who are not on the continent or who are not in Ghana to come and solve the problem, that needs to change. That mindset needs to change. You are the solution that Ghana is waiting for and Africa is waiting for. So to really delving down into your question, a few critical areas of collaboration that we are seeing now, at least with the Ghana Tech Alliance and actors in this space, has to do with AI and digital literacy advocacy. There's a lot of advocacy we do. And okay,
I just said okay, yeah.
right. So there's a lot of advocacy that we try to do. Fortunately, our work has gotten into the rooms that we were hoping it would get into. And so, for example, like I mentioned, AI and digital literacy, we are actively contributing to conversations around AI in education, digital literacy, and future-ready learning. And the whole idea here is simple. AI is no longer optional, right? And young Africans must understand how to use technology responsibly and productively. And, putting it in context, remember, we have a whole host of issues. If I'm to pass the mic around to all of you here, there's one problem in Ghana that, rubs you off very wrongly. You want to see change. And if we do have tools now, including emerging technologies, I don't know whether to call AI emerging technology now, because it's come. But, emerging technology like AI and all the other ones that are coming up, if we can leverage on that to be able to solve the problems in our country and on the continent, will take us a long way. Number two, in terms of the collaboration we've been having, has to do with teacher capacity. That's a big one, and I'm sure if you're in the education space, you would know what I'm talking about. There was a research that was done, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago by, I think, USAID and some partners, and the research came out and suggested that only 16% of teachers were able to get onto an LMS platform and then actively use and access educational resources. Only 16%. That tells you that there's an issue when it comes to our teachers, number one, and then how they deal with the digital. There needs to be that understanding that technology is only as powerful as the educator using it. Across Ghana and across the continent, one of the biggest gaps we've identified is teacher preparedness. So we're talking about, teacher proficiency when it comes to digital skills, right? And you'd be surprised. We are talking something as basic as even Microsoft Office, right? You'd be surprised that we still have people now who are unable to use platforms like Word, who are unable to use platforms like Excel, and then something as common as people will say like PowerPoint, right? These are the issues on the ground, and we are seeing increasing collaboration between different actors in the space, including ours, to bridge that gap when it comes to teacher training, AI literacy, digital pedagogy, and then blended learning models. And one of the struggles, if you like, of the edtech community in Ghana, for example, and even across Africa, with my experience so far, is that because of the apprehension of teachers, most of them, there's this fear when it comes to the use of technology, right? Because they are not even familiar with the already existing ones, right? So new technology being built now, putting it in front of their faces, there's that apprehension. And the reality on the ground is that if you have teachers who are the point guards in the classroom, and pretty much the point guards in the education system, who have this apprehension of using digital tools, you should bear in mind that your tool is not going to be used. So tackling that area is of big concern to us. Number three for me would be supporting local innovation, right? So Ghana and Africa's problems require context-driven solutions, right? I'm sure many of you know Kahoot, many of you know Coursera, many of you know Udemy, right? Many of you know a lot of these global edtech solutions. But then, do you know an eCampus? Do you know a QNO? Do you know an Ikulilu? Do you know a TechAid? Do you know an Asanka? Do you know a Dex Technology? Do you know a Pebi Cubs? All of these are, some of the exciting local edtech solutions that are popping up in the space. And lastly, right, is policy engagements. Like I said earlier, we are lucky to have, we are beginning to get into the right rooms, right? So we work closely with policymakers. So we have been working actively with SENDLOS. So SENDLOS is the Center for Distance Learning and Open Schooling. Yes, Open Schooling, Center for National Distance and Open Schooling. So they are the designated agency under the Ministry of Education, primarily focused on all conversations, education technology in Ghana. So we've been doing some, there's been a lot of conversations, with them as to how to transform, the education system through connecting, with the local actors on the ground, etc. All in all, I just want to wrap up the conversation shifting from how do we digitize classrooms because of the technology available to what kind of Ghanaian or what kind of Africa wants the education system to produce, right?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kwame. I've dropped a question for everybody that I would like them to look at. I'll come back to that later on. But for now, we are passing on the baton to Richmond. Hello, Richmond.
Hello, Ato. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Great. So, So, what support do organizations like Ghana Think provide to help young Africans navigate employment and entrepreneurship challenges? So, I think through that you can tell us a little bit more about the Ghana Think Foundation. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a theme that I've been running through. Everybody begins their question by talking a bit about their organization and what they do. So it's right that I also follow suit. So I'm here on account of Ghana Think Foundation. I'm a member of the organization. So Ghana Think is a social enterprise that works with the mandate of mobilizing talents for the primary benefit of Ghana, leveraging, focusing on youth employment, empowerment and community involvement. Largely, that's what we do at Ghana Think as an organization. At Ghana Think, we are driven by the motto we always say, less talk, more action. So that is who we are. We talk less and then get about our business and do a bit more. So that's what Ghana Think does. We partner with a lot of organizations to bring opportunities, learning opportunities to young people. We do this through our various programs. We have the backhands, which are regional programs that we bring to the doorstep of young people because we didn't want everybody to be robbed of this great opportunity of having to come to our class. So whatever that we have, we send it down to their doorsteps in the various regions. We also have the Ghana Volunteers Program. We have the Conseco program, which I lead, which is the training wing of Ghana Think Foundation. So generally, that's what Ghana Think Foundation is about. Pardon the noise in my background. And let me start now to ask which of the local tech solutions you know. I know of Asanka. I've used it before with my nephews and nieces at home. So
Okay, that's
I
great.
do know, yeah, I do know Asanka during the COVID period. So that's where I got exposed to Asanka. Yeah. So then back to your question you asked, what support the organizations like Ghana Think Foundation and others provide to young Africans during the course of navigating employment and entrepreneurship challenge. So I'll start broadly and then narrow down to some of the initiatives that Ghana Think runs and does, right? So for us at Ghana Think and generally across all other organizations, it's all about with the learnings that keep coming. The question is, what does it translate into? We all believe that all this learning should be able to translate into a pathway that leads the young people to earning, right? So from an employment and an entrepreneurship standpoint, shaping the future of these young people through skills and innovation really comes down to that one particular thing. How do we move them from learning to earning? Because after learning and you don't have the opportunity or you don't have the means to translate that into earning, then you get stuck in the loop. So how then do we translate these learnings to earnings? So because the challenge now is not just about unemployment, right? In some instances, it's about a mismatch. Many young people have degrees. In the course of our work that we do at Ghana Think, we get to find out that we get to interact with a lot more youth. We interact with a lot more youth. We find out that many of them have degrees, but not many of them have practical skills. They do not have the networks. They do not have the exposure that is needed to access opportunities to build things that are sustainable, whether a sustainable job or a sustainable business, right? So the question is, what do we do differently at Ghana Think, and what do other organizations like us do? What should we be doing differently, right? What we do differently, and then what we should be doing a bit more differently. So I'll just talk about a few things. The first one I would say we do differently at Ghana Think that is what emulating and other organizations like what the EdTech Alliance and then Ofwa is doing is first focusing on future relevant skills, right? I've heard Kwame mention, right? Future ready skills. The future is not waiting for anyone. How do we ensure that these young people are ready for the future of work and then the future of business? How do we equip them with the relevant skills now such that when the future dawns upon them, they are fully ready? What are the skills that I'm talking about? Skills like problem solving, things like the digital skills, skills like creativity, collaboration, right? Not working in silos. These are some of the skills that we see are future ready skills, not just about the technical skills. Yeah, the technical skills help, But what is the use of technical skills if at the end of the day you don't know how to work with other people or people with other skill sets, right? That is what will make young people adaptable. That's what will make young people thrive and then put them in a better position to be able to secure better jobs or start jobs that are more sustainable. That adaptability, that's what we gives young people. So that's one of the things that we do at Ghana Playing. This we've done with in partnership with some of our partners like DOT, where we implemented the Daring to Shift project. Through that, evolved into our ComSeco program, which is focused on grooming the next stage, or should I say next stage, grooming a series of young people or equipping them with the entrepreneurship skills, not just something, but social entrepreneurship skills. So that's one way we are doing that, and we all ought to be doing that. Second one would be connecting young people to opportunities, right? This we see Ghana Think does a lot. Myself, I've greatly benefited from such opportunities within the Ghana Think network. One thing that I too didn't mention is that I was a one-time beneficiary of, back then in my university days, beneficiary of a Ghana Think initiative that put me on the path towards the progress that I've made. And now I sit at the riverside where I'm working with the organization to be able to deliver something to contribute back to the larger community. So connecting young people to opportunities is one way to go. That's one thing that we do at Ghana Think, and we see that a lot more organizations can do. The skills alone is not enough, right? Skills alone is not enough. So the platforms that Ghana Think provide, the platform that Ofwat is providing, and the EdTech Alliance is also providing through things like the mentorship, networking, real world exposure, etc., would help turn this potentials that we uncover into actual livelihood. So that's the second thing. Then I can make mention of rethinking entrepreneurship. This is what we do through the ComSeco program. Through the ComSeco program, in the aspect of social entrepreneurship, right? Entrepreneurship is not just about getting the young people to think that entrepreneurship is not just about starting a business and get going. No, it's not just about that. It's about building a certain mindset. And that mindset is identify a problem, identify a communal problem, and create value that people are willing to pay for. Right? Identify a problem within society and then create value that people are willing to pay for. That's the mindset that we want to get most of our entrepreneurs into, right? So
Awesome.
influencing that mindset, and finally creating more pathways for young people to be able to gain practical experience, right? Creating more pathways. As I mentioned earlier, there are young people in our interaction with them that they have degrees, they have certificates and all that, but the question is, the experience is lacking, right? So how do we create more access, right? More pathways for young people to gain practical experience. This they can gain through what? Internship, through volunteering, through project-based works. And this is an example of what we do at Ghana Things, where we have the Ghana Volunteers Program, where currently in this form, we dedicate Kwame Nkrumah's Day, 21st of September, to create special volunteering programs across Ghana for young people to volunteer their time, to contribute to society, and then to build some relevant experience. So in simple terms, I would say that the future will be shaped by young people. We agree that the future of Africa will be shaped by young people. And these young people are not young people who just have skills, but this must be young people who are connected. These are young people who know how to collaborate. These are young people who are very confident. And they are people who are capable of creating value, right? And our job as Ghana Think and Ghana EdTech Alliance and Ofwat is to join hands to build a system that makes this possible. Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, great. So we'll come back to Jal, kind of, exploring. So I think we understand what is happening a lot in the ecosystem to help people navigate some of these things and do better. Jal, for you, I want you to tell us a little bit around how we support maybe people who are not so underserved, right? So how does Ofwa support more people, especially women and underserved communities in particular?
Okay, so I think that for all of us that are into the digital space and trying to do the best we can to bridge the gap, we all experience these challenges. So these problems may not be peculiar to just Ofwa. I know that Kwame, Richmond, and Atso, you'd also experience same at your end. At Ofwa, what we try to do is to find specific solutions to specific problems. Sometimes we see that the all-in-one solution that we try to bring may not really help. So we need to find out why women are not contributing. For instance, if we check our contribution or our contributor data and realize that we do not have a lot of female contributors. Why is this so? So we do surveys in our communities, trying to find out, okay, there was a point where we had an information session online like this, trying to learn why we do not have many women contributors. And then some of the ladies were telling us how they feel kind of unwelcome, in a way, because it's so competitive. And then in Africa, we do not have a lot of women in the tech space. So the men are taking the lead. And once women are coming in, they want things to be at their, and please, a minute, I need to open this for my baby, otherwise it won't stop worrying me. Okay, go back. Bye-bye. Okay, sorry. So, they
It's one of the challenges we face.
Yeah, I've ignored him for a while, but then he wasn't letting me. So, yeah, so they feel that, things have to go on their own pace. And then we realize, okay, then we need to do things specifically for women, right? So now for all our campaigns, you see that we have a special category for women. And we've been running Africa Wiki Challenge. This would be the 6th edition. So for the past 5 years that we've been running Africa Wiki Challenge, we've always had male winners. In fact, for the first 3 years or so, all the winners were males. When we brought in the top female category, where we started having just one female winner, you would realize that the contribution of this female winner may not even be close to the one who came 4th place, but this person is winning an award because we want women to be included. But what we've also realized is that gradually things are changing. Now they feel included and they are contributing more. Last year, I think the 2nd place was a female, and then we also had another top female. So we realized that now they feel part of the community, right? And then they are coming up. And when we have special campaigns dedicated to them, like the Shine Her Light and all of that, when we did the mentorship branch, for instance, a lot of these young ladies were super happy. They said, we do not get the chance to have an all-female conversation like this, where we have people who have been like us before and are up there, people we can look up to, where we can sit with them in the serene environment, talk, not so much of, not put so much pressure on them, but, just that free range. So realize that you need to have specific solutions to specific problems. And this is where even our case for schools come in, right? In remote towns or wherever. We bring the kiwis to schools. And then we also, this year, something we are also doing is planning a project specifically for people with disabilities, because most of the things we do are not disability friendly, but we do not want anybody to be excluded because of things they have no control over. So we are working together, to do this, but we cannot do these things alone. We do this through collaborations. As I've mentioned, we've collaborated with EdTech Alliance, with Ghana Think, with Goethe Institute, with many other organizations. And we look forward to having many of these collaborations with like-minded organizations so that we can continue to push this agenda and make sure that we are not leaving anyone behind, and we are providing the exact support that disadvantaged people need and not just what we think would help them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jal. So, Kwame, so the question I want to ask you a bit around, so you've talked about the teacher preparedness, and the different kind of skills that people need. But I think especially for lots of young people, a lot of young people are in school, and some are also outside school. So especially, what are some of the skills that maybe are not so treated in school that young people who are learners should pick up?
Really, really good question. It's got me thinking a bit. Let me just say very quickly, and I think I mentioned it in my earlier submission, that Ghana is a developing country, Africa is a developing continent, and there are lots of opportunities, right? We can be talking about all of the AI and talking about all of the technology popping up, but we need to understand that all of these tools are there that needs application from human beings to solve problems, right? So in answering your question, I need to say this. We need to move from educating only for certificates and begin educating for competence, adaptability, and contribution. Please, if there's anything that you missed from all of the things I've said today, please, these three things are very, very important, right? We need to begin educating for competence, adaptability, and contribution. You have a certain contribution to this vision of Ghana that we have. It's incredibly important. And so I in thinking about your question, I'm just thinking about it in terms of what are the broad categories I can put, the sort of important skills that are needed by young people now. I'll put it, so number one is
yeah, so to go straight to the point, like,
yeah,
what don't they get in school, right?
Okay.
That they need to get. Yeah.
Okay. I would frame it and say the opportunity we have in terms of what we can be given to our young people now will be number one, foundational human skills, right? And under foundational human skills, number one for me is critical thinking. We need to be able to have a lot more critical thinkers in our populace. Number two is communication. Your ability to be able to communicate and get another person to understand, to buy into your vision, to work with you. All of those things hinges on communication. To actually get a woman to marry you or get a man to look your direction, there's some bit of communication. To win a contract has to do with communication. To get all these three organizations to come together to form this webinar, it was communication, right? And so communication would always be relevant. Number three for me will be collaboration. Collaboration is critically important. It seems Ghanaians and Africans are the only people who find collaboration very difficult for one reason or the other. That's a problem I guess we need to solve. The next one has to do with creativity, right? Our ability to be able to be creative in terms of the problems that we have. The next one will be emotional intelligence. I don't think we talk about that enough. The ability to be able to be emotionally intelligent, the ability to, to have a grip and not blurt out things just because you are feeling a certain type of way, right? The next one for me under foundational human skills will be leadership. I think that's one thing that is missing very strongly across the board in Ghana and across the board. Leadership for me is taking action, right? Taking action. We have a lot of people who are affected by the disease of apathy. We have a lot of Ghanaians who are focused on what they will eat and what they will wear, and not what they will contribute to the vision that we are trying to create of this nation and of this continent. The last one on the foundational human skills will be problem solving, right? So one of the groups that I rate very much are the Bus Boys. The Bus Boys are showing many of our university graduates that when we decide that we want to channel our energies and use the limited resources we have, coupled with enthusiasm and commitment to want to see change in our space, we can make a difference, right? So look at what they've done. They've gotten to the point where the president has invited them more than 4 times. And I'm sure many of them, if I'm not mistaken, have not even attended university. But many of us on this call, I'm sure we have, graduated, are looking to even do our masters. And well, the president hasn't invited you yet. That's to say that you're not doing enough. To the next one for me will be digital and technical skills. I think every young person now in our time needs digital literacy. Next to that is AI literacy. Next is data literacy. The next, cyber security awareness. The next one, which I think is has become a Gen Z thing and is spreading into the millennial generation, is content creation. Right?
Great.
So many people are content creators now. The next one will be coding and computational thinking. Critically important. Next one for me is productivity tools. The last buckets would be practical and entrepreneurial skills. So we are looking at things like financial literacy. We are looking at things like entrepreneurship. We are looking at things like sales and marketing. We are looking at other things like project management, design thinking, technical and vocational skills.
Okay.
All of this say that we need builders, creators, makers, and solution-driven young people. Thank you, Ato.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You kind of parlayed into what I was going to ask Richmond. So, Richmond.
Yes, that's all. Hello, Ato. Are you on?
Okay. Yes. Sorry. So I was saying that Kwame has parlayed into kind of what I was going to ask you. You mentioned so many types of skills. And I know some of these skills have been imparted and, trained within the ComSeco program in Ghana, I think. But so my question to you is, the people who have been trained through what Ghana think has been doing, what problems do you see them solving with these skills? So maybe some examples of what are they actually doing, working as enterprises or as entrepreneurs, what problems are they solving with some of these skills?
Yeah, so I'm happy you had to pivot around the question because I was beginning to think that, hey, Kwame has said what I wanted to use, the things that I had in my mind, When Dr. Bamia gave the advice that if you do all, what will you do tomorrow? Kwame didn't pay attention. So he said everything. So thanks for the question. So what are some of the things that we see in our film? We are seeing our young people or those who have benefited from Ghana Things initiative. What are some of the things that we are seeing them do? To sum it all up, I would say we are seeing these young people utilizing the skills, the access, and the opportunity we've given them to solve real problems, right? To solve real problems, right? We've seen young people who have come in and are solving problems or who have started up businesses that are proven resilient. Like a case in point, we had Isaac Sessi, who is with Sessi Technology, who came through our programming, and with some of the skill set and some of the knowledge that have been shared and the opportunities that he has got, he's been able to leverage that to build what he's building now. This is not to say we are taking credit for that, but no. We've seen other young people like Ivy of Developers in Vogue, who has also taken up some of this skill sets to be able to deliver what they are delivering. And to just come to the back of that, most of our trainings, right? Most of our trainings and our learnings at Ghana Think have been focused on getting the young people to find the right blend of digital, professional, and then soft skills. As Kwame said, It's about time we build young people, we educate young people for competence, adaptability, and contribution. That's what we should be educating them to be. That's what we should be educating them for. Young people who are competent, young people who are very adaptable, and who contribute meaningfully to society. So these are some of the things that we've seen we at Ghana playing through, and some of the solutions that our young people are driving. To some of them, yes, they pivoted around their businesses and then gone on to employment. And then we are seeing some of them, I cannot name drop some of them, about a few. We've seen them doing excellent even in their day-to-day job. And as I said, largely it's all about creating the fine blend between digital skills, professional skills, and then the soft skills as well, right? All are equally important, but it's all about finding the right combinations to turn ideas into real impacts. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Richmond. So I think I would like to take some questions from everybody because of the time. There are a few questions that I have for Richmond, Giles, and Kwame. So maybe I would parlay those when the questions come in from others. Maybe just so that we can touch some of the topics that we are looking at. So yeah, please, for those of us here, please, if you could, I mean, it could be faster if you just type your question in the chat, but if you would like to unmute and address your questions, to the floor is open. So please, who will get us started? Okay, so maybe Kwame, let me start with you for this round. And the question is, you've mentioned a few edtech tools that are part of the EdTech Alliance. You mentioned Sanka, eCampus, etc. How do you see some of these tools helping people connect to jobs on the continent?
So, like I mentioned earlier, what we do essentially is a community of education technology startups and companies in Ghana. The whole idea primarily is to get these tools into the hands of education actors to enable them to deliver on high quality education, and then also to help them bridge the key areas, right? Access, equity, and then inclusion. The whole idea here is that we genuinely do believe that education is the engine of transformation, right? Education is the machine that is going to churn out the capable, the competent, the empathetic, the patriotic citizens that are going to contribute the value that they've gained through the education to help us build the Ghana that we want. So the tools that we have are complementary in nature, right? So we do have a few that are, in a sense, immediately connecting learners, with the platforms that they have in a position where they are able to get jobs, right? I typically don't like the whole idea of the narrative of getting Ghanaians or getting Africans in a position where they can get jobs. I don't know, it just rubs me off differently, because I think Ghana and the African continent is very different. And so we should be harping very loudly on the fact that we are educating our people to become problem solvers, right? I like that more than
okay, great.
But anyway, some of the solutions we are seeing touch on they teach digital and employability skills, right? So I don't know how many of you know about Andela. So Andela is pretty much a platform where they, in a sense, they do these trainings, right? And then after the training, they sort of connect you to these global organizations that are looking for talent, right? Mainly across the continent. Some of these tools also provide remote learning access. Some also connect. I think Jael mentioned something along those lines, right? So there are platforms that I know also that are connecting mentors to industry experts, right? There are others also that offer certification aligned to market needs. So there's this platform called Africosity. So it's a local Ghanaian platform, which is almost similar to like a Coursera and Udemy that has certification courses. So you go on there are a host of certification courses there available that you can, it's self-paced, you take your time, you learn, then after you go through the process, you come out, you get a certificate, and that puts you in a position where you become employable and attractive to potential employers that might be looking for you. Other key ones focus on STEM and TVET, and I'm sure I told you if you know very much about a bit of those STEM ones. So like there's the STEM aid, and there's the DEXT, and then there are some others as well, Firefly, IO, etc. And I know a few ones as well that help young learners, help them build portfolios, right, and proof of work, which is very important now. I think one of the shortcuts that young people have now is that instead of putting a CV together, you might as well just create a portfolio, right, so that if any employer reaches out, you do have the opportunity to have a conversation with an employer, you immediately send them the portfolio to show the work that you've done, right? That's a more convincing element as opposed to sharing CVs around. Those are the few ones that I know. The others two that focus on graphic design, software development, digital marketing, virtual assistants. I know a few that are also touching on content creation, e-commerce. Yes. Those are some of the few ones and the areas that they touch on. Yeah.
So you did the Baumia thing for Richmond again.
Oh wow.
Because I was coming to Richmond, but Richmond. So let me pivot a bit as well. So I mean, Kwame just mentioned like the different types of jobs that some people are getting into thanks to the training that they are getting, thanks to the skills that they are building as well. So maybe what I would like to ask is so now people are being trained to do virtual assistant type jobs, digital marketing type jobs. How do you think that people in this webinar, or people who are listening to us, how can they separate themselves from a lot of other people who are learning these same skills to be able to become better earners? Because
thank you for that. At least it really helped in pivoting around. So how can people on this platform, on this call, and other people who are also taking, there's a lot of people who are taking these trainings and all that, how do they stand out? And so for me, so be it as whether they exit to start something for themselves, or say they are working for somebody. So I'm looking at both pathways, whether as an entrepreneur or as an employer. I would say that these young people, what will stand them out is when they have a very strong mix of all that we discussed, so digital, professional, and then soft skills. On the digital side, right, all the learning that you are picking up, at the end of the day, it's supposed to help you. How do you efficiently utilize it so that skill sets you to work efficiently? You should be in a better position to analyze information better, to stay relevant, because that's the entire point. If you've gained all these digital skills and at the end of the day, you are not able to analyze and synthesize information properly to work efficiently, then we might as well as not got started. So how do you stand out? On the digital side, be able to assimilate the information properly better, analyze the information better, and work efficiently. because nowadays we are in systems or we are in environments where decisions are guided by information, and information comes from data. So how do you analyze this data better? So that's one way you can stand out, right? Having learned the basic Excel, how do you use it to analyze information? That will make you stand out from other people or others. On the professional standpoint, what will separate you from others will be your ability to deliver results, to meet expectations, and then to be able to grow within some structured environment. That's what will set you apart. That will what is going to make you different from other people. So this is where the professional skills also come in, and then to some extent some of the soft skills, how to collaborate better with other people, how to be able to communicate your ideas, get information and better insights from other people. So doing that would help you stand out better. So in terms of standing out, these are some of the things that I would say digitally, how you leverage your knowledge and then the tools to be able to work more efficiently, right? It's not just about knowing, but using it to work efficiently, analyze information, and then guide decision making. You will forever stay relevant, right? On a professional standpoint, to utilizing all you know to be able to deliver results oriented. Kwame said something that leadership is all about doing. Once you go about doing things, you end up getting to results. So deliver results, meet expectations, and you'll be able to see yourself grow within structured environments, and then as well as then the soft skills, right? The beauty about soft skills is that it helps us navigate change. It's not about learning how to communicate. Yes, those things are important. But then the end result is these soft skills are supposed to help you navigate change. So standing out from others means that you're able to navigate change in the face of uncertainty. You're able to pivot to produce results, and you're able to add value beyond what is described as your job description. So in my summary point, I would say that these are some of the things that would help young people to stand out better, become professionally reliable, digitally enabled, and then personally adaptable. Doing this
Great.
will always put them far apart others. Right?
Okay. Thank you so much. So just before we take Samuel's question, Jal, I want to ask you something quickly. And so you talked about the Africa Wiki Challenge, and you talked about those like who had won, and you introduced a prize for women, etc. What would you say, like, for those who maybe did better in the challenge? What are some of the what are two things that they did that helped them compete better? So Jal, and then we'll take Samuel's question.
Okay, I think that in Africa, honestly, if I'm being very honest, you know that poverty is the poverty situation is quite different in various countries. We've had campaigns where people from certain countries are literally fighting us to announce results early, even when we are not done, because for them it's more about the money. I wouldn't want to mention names of any country, but then for people in our space, they know most of these aggressive people from there. But then also there are the others that consider this as their way of impacting society. I have people on this call that whenever you meet them, they have their laptops on, or even on their phone. The least chance they get, they are editing Wikipedia. So if you do not consider these things as a competition, but then you take the training seriously and you want to feel a part of change, I think that is what helps, right? So the people that really feel like they want to do better for Africa, And so they want to contribute their quota. In a way, it becomes a hobby and they end up winning prizes. I think communication is also key. Selling yourself. We live in an era where, well, we believe in settings and all of that, but I don't think it's just settings. It's about putting yourself out there. I know that I'm going a little bit away, but people shy away from volunteerism because they feel like I'll get nothing from it. I'm not getting any money, but I feel it's mostly because people do not know how to sell themselves, how to sell the work they do through volunteerism, right? If you're a Wikipedia contributor, you have a certain number of articles you contribute annually and all of that. You do not need a certificate to be able to communicate this impact in an interview or on your CV or something, right? So it's the people that take this as a passion and, work to make an impact with it that actually succeed. And I will implore all the youth on this call to please again, take this seriously. All the organizations present on this call thrive on volunteerism. We bring together young people, and then help them volunteer. What you need to do is to be able to sell the work you do through volunteerism and not think that, oh, because I do this and not get a certificate, then there's no need doing it, because we're in an era where employers focus more on results than just your certificates you are bringing. If you come to me, if I employ you and then you have good certificates, but after your trial period, you are not working, I will let you go. There are people without those certificates but can do better. So gain these skills through volunteerism and learn how to sell yourself well.
Okay, great. So Jal, let me stay with you. Let me stay with you for the question that Samuel has asked. So I want to paraphrase this question a bit. So I think you probably have people who are just starting to contribute to Wikipedia, normally quite young. You might have some others who have done it for a while. And even some of the newer ones might be old, like old,
Yeah, in
above
age.
35, old in age. So how have you navigated that? Like, you have some people who are coming in who have more skills versus some people who don't have as much skills. How have you navigated for them to be able to work together?
Okay, so we have something called the OFWA newbie program, where we do not put the newbies together with the advanced contributors for a start. We mostly train them separately, get them to a certain level before they would even mix with the advanced contributors. And for people advanced in age and all of that, we try to create specific programs for specific professions. So we have training specially designed for educators. We have training specially designed for librarians, So we know that there are lots of Wikimedia tools, but if you train a newbie on all of them, they may not find all these tools useful at that moment. But each profession may find certain useful tools. So for instance, when you are doing the Wiki Skills for Librarians program, we do not focus so much on Wikipedia and others. We focus on things like Wikisource, Wikidata, structured data, things that can help them archive and stuff like that, Wikipedia Commons, where they can upload work and then be able to also access work that people have uploaded. So we try to do all of these things where we do not lump all our contributors or all our learners into one group. There's that kind of segregation there. So that's what we do for our OFWA learners.
Okay, great. Kwame, a few seconds on this, and then Richmond, and then we'll bring this one end. So just where you have people who don't have as much knowledge or you can even think of it from the organization perspective. Like if you bring interns in, working with others, and then Richmond also for you. So Kwam, let's take you and then we'll take Richmond.
Right. So, I mean, I think Jael has touched on a lot of the important volunteer. I think it's such a cheat code. Is always been a cheat code. If you want to get your foot in the door, offer your services for free, you get the opportunity to learn. And I think that especially for the young people who are what we call digital natives, it's an opportunity for you as well to, in a sense, uh, connect with people who are in the fields that you are interested in. Go in there, connect, learn, be a sponge. And then that's your opportunity to be able to pass on that information to the older generation. Right. So I think in summarizing this, what I'll say is that I think what is really missing is the fact that we don't have a large chunk of young people or the citizenry who see themselves as problem solvers. I think that's where the issue is, at least in my opinion, because excuse me, because if we see ourselves as problem solvers, if we see ourselves as the change that we want, as the change makers who are going to who are going to contribute to the sort of Ghana that we want to see, there are so many things we could be doing, right? There are so many things. There are so many avenues we'll take to learn, we'll volunteer, we'll gather information, we'll network, we'll do a whole lot. So for me, for the young people in the space, please, by all means, volunteer.
I like that cheat code. That's great.
So please do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Richmond, so please, as you come in, maybe you could also talk a little bit about. So I want you to really touch on how those who have been at it, let's say if you take Ghana Think members, those who have been at it for a while, how they engage with those who are just coming in to be able to solve these problems.
Yeah, so to add to the cheat code, so the cheat code usually works with when you are on the side trying to gain access in. Now, for those of us who may already be in, right? How do we enable more young people to get into the door with us? So that's where a lot of work around mentorship and then handholding also comes in. So I hope it's touching on the question that you asked. So mentorship and then handholding. A lot of that does work because if we have a lot of young people who are interested in learning and then they are volunteering, they are taking internship opportunities. If we on the other side are not doing much, if we on the other side are not doing much to guide them, to give them the relevant opportunity and access and then teach them the ropes, then the volunteering and the internship that they are doing doesn't help. All right, it doesn't help. So we've seen a lot of that within the Ghana Tech Network. Those who are taking the lead before us, because I personally too got the opportunity to learn a lot from those who are already ahead of me, who are already within the system, and then they were very generous enough to teach us the ropes and share a lot more insight for us. So it's only fair that now in this position, I also do same for a lot more young people. So I would say that so for some of us who have already stepped into the door, or those of us who already have the skills and the abilities, mentorship and handholding would always go a long way to help. So that's just a bit also.
Awesome.
So that we complete the cycle.
Yeah. Yes. No. This is a really great way to complete the circle, because all the things that we've learned from this call is providing guidance and is providing some advice so that we can all do better. So thank you so much, Richmond. Thank you so much, Kwame and Jal, for sharing. I would like to hand this over to Brian, who would close us out. I think the points have been quite clear, and the various organizations that are organizing this webinar would also try to disseminate more information so that we can, apart from what you've taken home, others can also benefit from that. I will just add that good information must spread. So all the great things that we've learned today, please let's spread this in the different corners that we are in, the different circles and communities that we are in, so that we can have much better cities, much better communities, much better countries at large. So thank you so much for your time, and I would like to hand over to Dixon and Brian as we close. Thank you. Morvin.
Okay, thank you very much, Atu. I hope everyone can hear me clearly.
See
Yes,
Podemos.
so I've also
Yes, we
learned
can.
Okay, thank you. So I've also learned a lot about volunteerism, and I'll also be sharing this information with my circle. So before we close, I'd like for us to do a little exercise. I'm forwarding a code to the comment section. That's the chat. In the chat, I want each and every one of us to go to our net and open menti.com. Menti.com. Over there, we are taking feedback for this webinar. And I would like for everyone to just log in. Just visit menti.com, menti.com. I'm putting it in the chat. And I'll be sharing my screen for us to do a little exercise. Yes, I think Dixon has also shared the link. So when you visit this site, you put in the code that I've provided in the chat. Then we start. Dixon, please, I'm sending a request to share my screen. Dixon? Okay, so I can see 4 people have joined. Please, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, I can just see 5 people join, and we have more than 10 in this webinar. So can we all just join so that we begin this exercise? If I get like 10 and above, then we move on, please. So you just visit the site menti.com, then you put in the code, then we can begin. So just 6 people. Okay, 7 now. If you get about 10, I think we can move for the others to join, then we continue. Yeah, Tuba, please, have you joined? Gideon, I can see you. Have you joined? Zacchaeus, I can also see you. Brekisu. I just need 2 more people, please. 2 more. So we can get started. Just 2 more people, please. Okay, 9 now. Okay, great. We have 10 now, but let's all join. Let's all join, then we go. So going forward, we have the first question. That is describe the webinar in 1 word. I think if you go to next. Oh, okay, some have already responded. Okay, that's nice. So out of the 11 people, we have 6 responses on the first question. So when you're done with the first question, you just go to next, then you fill out the other questions. But I think out of the 11 people that have joined, only 6 people have filled, have given their answers. Please, let's all do well to give our responses. Yes. And the next question is, how would you rate your overall experience of the webinar? Your overall experience. And I think with this, we just have 3 people responding to this. I think we just have 3 people. So I think when you are done with the first question, you see next. You see them asking you to go to next. So you have to click on the next to go to the next question and provide your response. So let's all do that. Let's all do that, please. You're still not on half. I think we are almost on half. So out of the 11 people, just 5 responses. And we all do well to respond so that we move quickly. All right, I think we have 7. So the link is also still available for those who have not joined yet. So it's menti.com. Then you just insert the code that has been provided. That's the 651253444. They start giving out your answers. So there are questions that are provided that you answer. Then you go to next. That's the process. So you end. So on to the next question. That's how much do you agree with the following statement? How much do you agree? So on this, I think you rate on a scale of 1 to 10. So you just slide it to your preferred number. Yeah. Thank you. I can see 6 people have responded. Okay. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. And the 4th question is, which part of the webinar was most valuable to you? Also, we have 6 responses for you. So the other 5, please, why are you not responding? The other 5, please. Let's see your response, please. And the others that have not yet joined, kindly join and provide your responses. We need this feedback. On to the next. What should we provide? What should we improve most for future webinars? So out of 100 points, you distribute. We are waiting for your response. Just 3 out of 12 people have responded to this question. And the next. Hey, I think our first response, I think the person didn't to the what is one thing we should keep or improve for the next webinar. Let's all receive. Let's all type our responses. Okay, just 3 out of 13 people have responded to this question. The 10 people, please, we are waiting for you so that we can close. Let's pass our closing time, please. So just 3 responses for the last question, please. Let's get at least more than half. Then we can leave it to you guys to fill it. It says I'll do our best to share responses. Just 30 people, we can do that quickly, then we close. Okay. Once again, if you don't know how to join us and provide your responses. You just go to menti.com and you input this number. That's the 65125344, and you start giving your responses to the questions that have been to just complete this. I think this is the last question. Then we can close. Okay, so 7 out of 13. 6 more. Six people. Okay, so 9 out of 14 people. Yeah, so the site is still open and we can still be giving our responses. Please let's do what to complete the response or give the full response before. Dixon. Hello, Dixon. Are you there? Yeah, we cannot hear you. Yeah, I think we've gotten 9 out of 14 responses for the last question. And I was saying that it's still open for more responses. I think because of time, maybe we can end the meeting. Then, but we still encourage people to just hop onto the site and give their feedback, which is very important.
Yeah, I'll just like to say it's been great having all of us, take time out to be part of this webinar, and more of them as we try to improve the communities that we are in and the country. So thank you. It has been a pleasure being the moderator. Yeah, this is our group picture. But I think you might want to do gallery view instead of the speaker view. I'm saying hi to those whose videos are on. Hi, Zacchaeus. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Samuel. Hi, Gideon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.